You're on.
We're on. We will call our May board meeting to order for the Newburg Electric School District. Will you please stand and pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're missing Mr. Birdsong at the moment. Okay. So in that, we have a quorum of 5 members. The approval of the agenda is written. Motion, Mr.
Second.
Berkshire, second, Mr. Shear. Further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 5-0. No public comment. Consent items, which you have the minutes from the April meeting and the monthly financial statement or the ledger. Motion to accept consent agenda. Motion, Mr. Thompson, second, Mr. Brookshire. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of the bills.
Are we straightening out all these duplicate payments? Are we getting to the bottom of all that on this Walmart card or whatever the card is?
Yes, but is there anything specific?
No, I just making sure we're getting to the bottom of
Oh,
that
yeah.
where it's,
Yes,
on this capital projects fund, I'm assuming that is for like science class, is that what I'm assuming for the $1,900 for goggle cabinets and or that's the bus
Is it the
barn?
bin that you look
Yeah.
at? So part of our, on our music inspection is
Mhm.
we really need to have some of these chemicals put away and organized.
Yes,
So that was the purchase of that cabinet to do so.
understand that.
Yeah. Jackson said, I knew it was coming. It's something we've been needing to do and
Yeah. No, no.
yeah,
Has to be fired.
a little bit.
Can-
It needed to be done. Nobody's gonna mention
Another
code.
week.
Not time.
Well, then, I mean, all the day.
Again. There's my butt. $900 for a breaker of the place.
That's for that big one. The
'Cause those
main,
lights-
that was the main to the lights, the ball field.
Finally got down to trying to fix it other ways and it was not fixing it. It was
I
Main.
think it was having issues.
last fall. Oh, okay, maybe so. I
Probably
know in the
more
fall
than a
it
couple years
started.
ago.
Given the age of it, I've had trouble for any year.
Truth be known.
I got it. Good, good. It's the right thing to do. Yeah, I see. You know, we got it, just did so much work down here. Yeah, yeah. I'll try to come up with things. Yeah. Always come to these things. Did they do right here?
Well, what do you mean? Because that's only heating. That's all you want to sell.
Oh, okay.
I'm not complaining about it.
The motion to pay.
What's in it? It's not in the butt, it's not in the.
All right, you
Yeah.
cleared up mine.
No, that's, they're plugged in.
Excuse me. That light under that table is what Carl's brought in for them to see.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you showing that. Yeah, I knew he was gonna put it back here somewhere.
Motion by Mr. Thompson to pay the bills. Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
Second, Mr. Shear. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in
That's
favor,
fine. I
please
just-
raise your hand. Motion carried.
Sometimes I just need clarification.
5-0.
I'm none of that.
Administrators report. I think it's your turn this month, Mr. Dunn, to go first.
All right.
Sorry, just a couple of recent things. One recent thing, our attendance committee met on Monday to go over second semester attendance. The number of students we had to meet on this semester was less than first semester, which is good. You know, we've updated our attendance policy for this year. There were we met on 6. One of them was just barely over, basically, hey, this is a warning, we're monitoring, that sort of thing. I think there were 3 or 4 that did lose credits because they had excessive absences. And so we reach out to the kids and those families and talk about summer school to make up those credits. We feel like there's been an improvement just because, number went down second semester. So first semester, they know, hey, we're monitoring this and, we're going to be held accountable for our attendance. And so it's a good thing to see those numbers go down. I think 2 or 3 of them were repeat offenders from first semester. There was improvement second semester, but it was still excessive. So attendance is about the same. The daily rate for the year's about the same. The end of the year, it's just been crazy. You're finishing out a year and planning graduation and preparing for the next year and all that. And I'll say, we can't get it done without the help of the team. I mean, even with graduation, so many people are involved with graduation to pull that off, between our senior sponsors and different staff members, Josh with Tech. Our custodial crew has been phenomenal with all of this stuff because we've had graduation, we've had several banquets, we've had concerts, and they are constantly, working to get facilities, flipped over and ready for these things. And they do it with such pride and such a good attitude. It's really appreciative too. That definitely takes a team to pull all that stuff off. FFA recently attended the state convention and elected officers. For next year, we've had several qualify for state track. We've had a couple just went to state golf this last week. We've got 5 students who are going to state track tomorrow and Saturday. And our senior baseball night, got to recognize our 3 seniors. We'd like to commend Mr. Wells for, there's been a lot going on with the band. I recently went to a couple of competitions. The junior high got first in their division at a competition. The high school got third in their division at a competition. They also, one group went to Six Flags, one group went to Silver Dollar City. We had our concert, last week. I think it was last week. It's all kind of a blur. But a lot's been going on, with our band, recently. So that's been a good thing. Mentioned banquets galore. Miss Strain, put on an excellent FFA banquet. Coach Simley put on a great athletic banquet. Miss Mastery organizing the academic banquet. All of that was within about a week. Heard wonderful things. I was not able to attend the FFA banquet due to me being sick, but heard Miss Strain's dad's pork loin was amazing. He will attest to that. And Carl did some amazing pulled pork for our academic banquet. So lots of good stuff there. Seniors, graduated Sunday. Graduation went great. Had a lot of work, a lot of people, working to pull that off. Baccalaureate was the week before. Wonderful service. Miss Jackson did a great job, her part. Our kids participated in that as well and did a really good job. I appreciate the Ministerial Alliance and First Baptist Church for their efforts and support and sponsoring that for our kids. The master schedule, we feel like we've got it pretty close to being completed. There's a couple of tweaks left, but we started to get our students. In fact, the last couple of days, our students have all had a chance to look at that and tell us what classes they want. The plan is to have a schedule for them at registration that is just get them ready to go, start a little bit smoother. It will take a little bit of work to get there. I know Shannon's got to put that into Infinite Campus. And I could take her 2 or 3 weeks to build that. And then we'll have to look at, how we're able to get the kids in the schedule once it gets built. But the plan is, the goal is to have all that done so they come in for registration and just hand it right to them. Summer school, we're pretty much ready to go, next Thursday. Miss Wright's done a lot of work for the K through 8 side. And we've been getting our high school students ready for their health and personal finance and foreign language and credit recovery. And I know we're going to talk a little bit later on a couple of things, but we have received some grants, just pending board approval for those. One's with Project Lead the Way, one's with the Root Ed thing, and I don't know if I'm missing another one, but that's at least a couple there. So lots been going on, here at the end, and definitely, one person can't do it all. We've had a wonderful team working to pull a lot of stuff off. And I know I've left people out, in saying that, but it's been nice just having a wonderful team to help get things done.
What's your enrollment on your end for summer school? Doug?
We're in the 30, maybe 30 or is it 30 or 50. I looked at that just a little bit ago. I could pull it up here real quick. I've got a second. I've got the list. Give you a more accurate number. A second.
Man, if it's 50, that's pretty good.
Mine will be 15 though.
No, it's a lot, and I just called them all down at the end of the day and talked to them too. I've got it right here. I'm in the low 50s
Really?
right now, summer school.
Good.
And that's just high school.
No,
It's
that's
not-
what I'm
And
saying.
and
Just
that's not counting the 7th and 8th graders are gonna be doing the.
Yeah, but just on the 9 through
But
12.
9-12, we're low 50s right now.
I don't know what it was, Josh, but I assume that's,
Well, given what our enrollment.
yeah.
It's about a
total
third
is,
of our kids.
So that's pretty.
Well,
good.
actually, it's more than that, because if you look at, it's about half of our high school kids, actually.
Yeah.
Will be doing something in summer school, about half.
That's a positive.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can't remember what our enrollment was last year, or what a good enrollment is.
Last year.
50's quite a few.
I think 50 is a pretty good number for high school.
Oh, yeah.
That's when he said that, I was like, man, if you're getting 50, that, for just high
Good.
school,
I mean,
that's
that's
good.
positive. Those
Yeah.
are,
I hardly ever got 50.
maybe nobody liked you.
They didn't.
When they come to school, when they come to summer school and do personal finance, some kids can be like drudgery, and I have one saying, man, I took personal finance last summer, and it was so much fun. And so, like, that's like, you like to hear that. But I think that's, the teachers making it meaningful, and
That makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
All of it. Any questions, Mr. Dunn? If not, yes, we know the end of the school year is extremely busy, more than, sleep is welcome, but not provided.
I told my family first of the month, so I'll see you.
So I understand that, but we're appreciative.
And with you having a little
How
bit of
that-
sickness.
how that
tied up in
goes,
that
so-
too, that really.
No, that did hurt, because I missed about a week of school. That was
really
yeah, that was
Really
tough.
complicated
Sorry.
things for you.
That's tough. Thank you. Any questions? None? That's right. Well, he had them.
Well, that's what the kids got. You're like, Mr. Doug, why have you missed just some of the hiccups? Yeah, no. it was
Trust
way
me.
more than just the hiccups.
He told me all about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we had a few things going on our end too.
Well, you're not gonna top him,
Back in
so.
April, toward the end of April, it all started with our pre-K kiddos heading to the zoo in Springfield. Map testing in there, we did finally get that completed. My fingers are crossed. I think we're really gonna see some improvement in our scores. I really do. So, our EL concert, grades K3, also happened the same night as his junior high. I was not able to go there because my daughter had her baby, so I was there for her
Congratulations,
for
Grandma.
that. So
Priority.
their graduation was in there May 9th. Then we also went to Springfield, or they went to Springfield. Mrs. Kingsley went with them. Again, that was around I missed a couple days with my daughter, so that those both happened back to back there. I think they had a great day. A lot of them
Phenomenal
came
day.
back with lots of smiles and
Oh.
told me all about it and sunburn, but
They had the best time. They did.
yeah, that's a
They're
good
so
day
well
for
behaved.
them. The elementary field day was on Friday. Big shout out to Miss Jana, my secretary. She just, if it wasn't for her, it wouldn't have happened because it was a lot of work. So she really, really helped me get everything going, and the kids had a blast. So it was worth all the hard work. Today we had our water day. Shout out to Mrs. McClanahan for that because she took that one on. And the kids had a blast there too. Now they were a little cold. I looked out a few times and they were shivering. So it was a shame that it was only 70 degrees, but they had fun.
And the Doolittle Fire Department.
Fire department was here as well to
It was a
help
big
out
deal.
with that, which was awesome.
Good.
So, the sixth grade moving on up, celebrations, we kind of celebrated them every day this week with a little something. Tomorrow we are gonna have, at 9 a.m. we're gonna have a little celebration. I don't like to call it a graduation. It's just kind of a moving on up celebration where we will recognize each kiddo. They'll get certificates. All the parents have been invited in that grade level, and we're gonna have it down in the small gym. We have T-shirts for them, so it's gonna be a good day. I got some cookies and punch, and so I think they'll enjoy that. And the shirts are, some of it's a surprise. They don't know all of it, but tomorrow is our last day, and we do have our very last fourth quarter student of the quarter assembly tomorrow to recognize our fourth quarter students for that. Summer school, grades K-8. I do have 106 kids signed up so far. I will probably get a few more before, because, they've kind of been every day. We've been getting one or two, or parents call, but I think 106 is a pretty good number. Considering my current enrollment is 155.
I would say that's.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
And then
Your percentage
my-
is slightly higher than Doug's. We'll
a
notate
little
that.
bit.
We'll notate that for you.
It might be high school, and yours might be K-8.
I do have a little bit of him,
No.
not many, not many.
I shouldn't have mentioned that. Maybe I should have let her win.
My running attendance for the year is at 93.15%. It's stayed in the 90s all year. That's all I got.
Adam says, do we need him? He forgot to set a reminder. He just got home from mowing, but he can come down if we need him.
Totally up to him. Totally up to him.
Do they have time to
About
shower?
10 minutes.
No, I'm kidding.
He says, need me? And I said, well, I mean, not if you're busy. He's like, I forgot to set a reminder.
It's all right. I mean, you want,
I said, it's up to you.
We'll figure it out, one way or the
Okay.
other.
you think, Ms. Wright? And again, end of the year, everybody excited about the water day,
Oh, yeah.
all those other
Fun thing.
things.
Fun things. You forgot the word fun.
The kids have fun, but it
They
is
do.
exhausting.
I-
for the
very
I
staff.
did take a video today out there. I just walked down there at one point, and because it was just so fun. There were
Oh,
just kids over here doing whatever they were doing, a relay race, and
yeah.
these are back here, and these guys are sitting down, and the water's shooting out
Oh,
of the
they
fire
had a
truck.
ball.
And I just thought, wow, they're just, and the kid, and here comes Robert Lowrance and stomps in the water and splashes Riley Thorpe, and she goes, I'm not getting wet, and it was just fun. It was just everybody having fun, and it was nice. I wish it was a little warmer too, but
Yeah, that's the only
Wow,
bummer
was
of
it a
all
fun-
days, but
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad it's not really a lot warmer because my air conditioner's out.
mine is too.
Mine is out too.
Mine was.
I'm hoping to get done.
Any
before it
questions?
I've been on
Right?
68 for like a month.
Okay.
I did forget,
Matt's like, I didn't say anything.
did forget to add, Miss Ford and Miss Shuey took our 8th grade to the Holocaust Museum in St. Louis, and that was, they said that was a wonderful experience.
You ever been
My
there?
10th grader was upset that,
I've never,
they
I've
didn't.
never
So
been
you
there.
good to go?
I've never been
I
there.
bet
Take
that
her up
was
Maybe put the
awesome.
time to go sometime.
She's like, I was the one time I was in 8th grade.
Memorable moments in there. It's really, if you ever get a chance to go,
Yeah, I need
go
to.
with you. It's
Really?
very, you aren't touched by the time that you leave.
There's something wrong.
There's something wrong. It is quite a
Mm.
presentation. So, especially if you understand the impact.
Sure.
You know, so, and they kind of help you understand the impact. But anyway, it's good, it's a pretty good experience. If not, we'll move on. Ms. Kingsley?
Yeah, so I want to kind of mention about the financial stability. Legislature did pass state budget on the 10th, May 10th, with full funding. It's a big win really for public education, especially with how up and down the session was. Open enrollment did not pass.
Can I just say,
Yes.
I
We're
was
getting
like
all
the
worked
only
up about
one
something we didn't even know was
who
gonna
said,
happen. It didn't
this
happen.
is not gonna pass.
Well, I
knew.
honestly, and they believe, really, it was a lot of the speaking up about it that maybe got the Senate to say, hey, maybe we're not ready for this. So I mean, I do think it's important that we speak out, and we let people know that this is gonna have a large impact on us. So I'm glad that it did, and I think someday it probably will, but we get to live to
Get a
see
little- we
another
get to
couple of
live to see
years
a little
without
bit of
having to
breather
deal
room.
with that.
At least a couple more
A
years.
couple
yeah.
more years of not
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
to go down that road. But they have fully funded the foundation formula and transportation. They've increased the small schools grant. They funded the baseline teacher salary grant and career ladder. Now, the governor hasn't signed anything yet. So we do still have kind of this window of, there'll be a line item veto of something. What might change, what could be impacted. Now, they also committed an awful lot of money to privatization of schools, which is something that was new. And so that's a big deal. And we do have, that they've passed the minimum wage and this time included schools in that, which has not been a thing of the past. So there's a requirement of $13.75 an hour starting in August and $15 an hour in January. So they do expect the governor to sign that. So that will impact as well. For us, I think probably the only area we really need to look closely at is subs. And we raised it last year. And so we're not too far off, maybe $5. It's not far off. But a lot of discussion around that, a lot of discussion among superintendents and among massive meetings, so forth, about what are the other things that we haven't been thinking about that we never had to think about before when it came to minimum wage. So that's something for us to be kind of have on our mind. Couple of adjustments I want to make in our budget, and then hope to share some things out to you soon. And then hopefully we could get together maybe in the mid-June before our actual board meeting so that we can maybe go through that a little bit closer and see where we are. They are recommending that we do not raise our SAT to 7145. They said we just sit tight. I just don't believe that that's really going to be that beautiful. So let's stay with 6760 and be a little
You'll know
safer.
next week, he has to sign it.
Right, but as they point, a couple of people I've been working with have pointed out, even if they say they're gonna do that, sometimes it doesn't come all the way through. So this year, at one point, I can't remember what we were getting, but it was not 6760. And so just being a little conservative is probably wise for us right now. Now, we did receive a nice chunk of money from the small schools grant, and putting that into our budget has significantly.
How much more did it give us?
Um,
We were 100 and,
what did I have in the 140-ish, maybe? And I've got us up to like 239 right now. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
you got Doug's attention
It
over
was a
there.
nice jump. It was a, it's balancing out our
is that
enrollment
a
issue.
given? Is that a given?
It's what we received this year is what I based it on. So as long as we're under 350 and we have our tax levy at the right, and we do,
Okay,
and we have our tax levy where it
I
needs to
couldn't
be.
remember what the other qualifications were.
Yeah.
That's, no,
That's huge, that's
It's
huge.
a big, big
hundred
help.
well,
I didn't expect that much.
But I mean, we didn't even expect the 140.
No.
That wasn't in the budget for last year.
Mm-mm.
So that
Very nice.
was a huge, I mean,
that's gonna make,
that's 200.
it's gonna let that work.
Yes, it's really helping us out. And they've increased the amount for that, which is odd because I feel like the bigger push is the bigger agenda is to consolidate and close some of the smaller schools. So it's interesting to me that they've increased the amount of money in small
Funding
schools
is more.
grant. So I don't know.
Right.
It makes none of it makes a lot
Well,
of
and
sense. to me.
maybe some of the bigger schools spoke up about the
Change it.
open enrollment, said, hey.
We can't take any more.
We
people.
can't, we
That's what
I
can't,
guarantee you
we
they
can't
did.
take these kids if they're wanting to come here. We don't have room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
Thing is,
good. They
right.
need to speak up and say,
They never change anything, do they?
Right, you can't count on it.
Yeah.
You can't count on it.
So, I mean, I understand the point, and the point's good, but don't call it granted. There's no way we can
Yeah, you go change it. and
make a
pull
change,
up
and then
your stuff.
they just stop the grant, then here we are.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good initiative to help us change the salary schedule, but they call it something else and give it to us as a foundation formula increase, say, okay, then that's good. But don't call it a small schools grant.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's interesting. There's definitely, it feels wonky, feels like don't trust it.
But take the money when it's there.
And you bet.
Darn right.
Take care of it
And be
out.
grateful that we have it and then
Yes.
we anticipate it next year. You know, they've put together this coalition, this group of people to work on the founding, or the
There's a problem,
foundation.
how they're gonna tweak it.
Yes, and
Nobody understands it, so it's hard to tweak.
all the people that are sitting on there are not educators. Or
So
is it
we
one
don't
or
understand.
two educators maybe on there? So that is concerning to me. I did talk to Benny Cook the other day. He came by to drop off some certificates, and so we talked for quite a while up on the ball field.
Have you ever looked at how that's actually figured,
Yes,
foundation formula?
it's pretty complicated.
It is unbelievably a mess.
It's really something to try and understand the whole thing. So I don't know how they're going to, is where I guess I'm going with this.
You're right.
But I do believe that part of their goal is going to continue to be consolidated. So I would imagine somehow it's going to impact us. And he mentioned that when I talked to him.
And he
He
did.
said, yeah, he said that. He said, I think that's going to be, just be careful, just be
He's
watching.
here and remember,
So
but they've been here.
they have 2 years supposedly to put this together. He believes they'll have something together in a year. That's just what he shared. He said, I would expect it much sooner than 2 years. I think they have an agenda, so therefore they're probably going to want to move faster. But it's just hearsay
Have a
and that's just where
motivator.
they are.
Motivator. He's not gonna, he's gonna.
He's gonna drive it. I know. So, and then I did check music, our insurance company said our expectation for our fiscal year 26 is a 9% increase. So they already increased pretty significantly, and
9%.
another 9% is what they anticipate. They said the storms have not let up, so. Recruit, attract, develop, and retain highly qualified staff. I just want to mention again, staffing is stable this spring. We've had the majority of our staff, our faculty and staff are returning for next year and feel ready to build on what's been established this year. And I've talked to different staff around and they're looking forward to next year and it's really nice. Just to hear some good things. Next year, we're going to do this. We've got this plan and we've got that. So really big kudos to this team over here and the work that they've done because it's really paid off. Really, really paid off. And it's nice to see the staff just happy and excited about the next year. Excited for summer too, but also excited to return to the things that are going on. Ms. Mercer plans to lead our mentoring program next year with a more developed schedule of events. I think we all recognize that's needed, and she does too, and she brought that up to me and said, just so you know, I am planning on making that better. PAT has not been real high functioning this year. We got a lot of irons in the fire there is the way I would put that, and those that were running it had too many things going on, and that's unfortunate because that needs to be running well. So they've come to me, we've talked through it. Emily Mathis, our preschool teacher, is going to take over that role, and that is the perfect pairing between her and Mrs. Mercer. They've already got plans. They've got the training this summer that she'll be going to. She's excited about it. She's come to me and said, hey, where can I put my PAT stuff? And so I think that we're moving back into the right direction there, because I know we've had a strong PAT in the past, and we want to get back to that. Develop and enhance instructional and educational programs. I just want to mention that Mr. Dunn's been working on the PLTW classes for next year in junior high and high school, as well as recently, I'm talking about an ACT prep class at high school. Also looking at adding esports as an elective, and apparently that was very well received today when the kids were hearing about it. There was an awful lot of excitement about the chance to do that. So that's good. Feeling some excitement in there, some new classes, some educational programs to get kids really interested. I neglected to put on our agenda tonight the PLTW grant that is in your packet, so I apologize. When you mentioned it, I went, oh, it is in there, and I did not mention
I looked at
it.
it I looked at it in the packet.
Yeah, and
Weren't you
then
impressed?
I appreciate that. Ensure facilities and grounds and buses are safe. I know Matt and I talked a little bit about this after
Oh, you're the
consulting with the concrete expert. Shoot, I let the
concrete
cat out of the bag.
expert. I was trying to figure out who that was, or she was consulting
That
to.
would be Mr. Brookshire, the concrete expert. We just thought maybe
Never done it.
rewording.
Yesterday was your first day? He mixed a bag in a beer barrel one time.
Did not mix any in a wash machine.
But we thought, we're taking a look at that and maybe get the RFP in terms that they might relate to a little bit better, would maybe make it, give us another round, give us another chance to look at that. So I sent it to you on email. I don't know if you'd seen it yet, but if you didn't, I'll make you a copy if you want.
Yeah,
Whatever,
maybe.
make a copy, that'd be great. Or come on down, however we want to do that. But I just, getting that back out there so we know what we're doing there will be, I think, our next step. Of course, the bidding for the asphalt resurfacing line in Bus Barn has reached its deadline. Those bids are in there for discussion and approval tonight. And then just want to mention cultivate a healthy, safe, warm climate. One of the things that we've talked about several different times this year in our admin meetings is just what a dynamic groups of people that come out of the woodwork to support Newburg. It might be a group that's donating money. It might be a business that stepped in. It might be a group of parents doing something. It might be the staff that are jumping in. It's our custodial staff. It's just different people. It's really, I think, moved all of us at different times this year. How many people care so much and really go out of their way to make a difference? And so we were trying to talk, trying to come up with some way to start some sort of recognition of some of these things. And we came up with the difference makers. And so we gave, and of course you guys got a little something. We were kicking that around at that time when we gave you all your little difference makers. And so we gave 3 awards, excuse me, at our last PD day, which was Monday. We gave out 3 awards as difference makers. And as I told the staff, the staff's filled with difference makers. But 3 people that really stood out with something kind of extraordinary that happened this year, or that was something going on. Carl is one of them, and I said it's not just for the obvious barbecuing and stepping up and doing all the things, getting the gym ready for graduation without even much direction, all the things that he does. But I don't know if you all are aware, but there was a situation where Carl was driving a bus, and then Melissa Hudson is another one we gave a difference maker award to. She was on the bus as a para on the bus with a student, and they came upon a car stopped in the road. And it was a busload of kids. He'd only let a couple off so far. And so as that bus came upon that car of, sitting in the middle of the road, he had to get into action somehow. And so what we found was there was somebody in that car unresponsive. And he was able to keep the kids on the bus safe. Ms. Hudson was in play in helping the kids be safe on the bus. He was able to try to address the situation safely. He got emergency response. He saved the man's life. In the process, discovered there were a couple of kids in the back seat. And so there were some kids that are very, very scared and very afraid of what had just happened there. And so those kids actually came onto the bus, Mrs. Hudson and a couple of the high school kids, I know you know their name, that were absolutely dynamic in the situation, really took care of those kids and took care of it while this whole emergency situation was going on in front of them with a busload of kids with nowhere to go. I mean, what were they going to do? It was just a terrible situation, and they really just did all the right things. And so we just really wanted to recognize them for just their extraordinary heroics during that whole situation. Kids were safe. Everyone was safe. They got the help they needed. Mrs. Hudson actually left and went with the kids because they were really needing some more support, and went with emergency personnel to help see them through. So just really the right people, I said, by golly, were on that bus at the time that they were most needed. So we recognized them with a certificate, and then we recognized Joe Hurdaid. Joe he does so much. He does so many things, and he weathers so many things, and he does it with such a passion and a love for kids, for his subject, for the school. He's done a lot of things for the staff that he'd rather not me mention this, I think, out loud, but he's done a heck of a lot this year behind the scenes. He was definitely mad that we gave him an award for it, and I apologized to him while shaking his hand
Bet you did.
that I had to do this, and he said, "I'm not doing anything anybody else didn't do it." And I said, "Thank you for saying that, but I think you really show at least what we really admire in somebody. And what you do for kids is so dynamic, and what you do for the staff and the way that you just constantly support."
He's just a great human.
He's a
Yes.
great
He's a great
human
being.
being, absolutely. So we recognize those 3, and what we'd like to do is put this award out maybe on our website so that throughout the course of the year, if you see somebody or some entity or a staff member or whatever that's really making a difference, maybe we can nominate them It'll come to our admin team and we'll just kind of process those as we get them and recognize people throughout the year. That's kind of how we thought that might go. So kind of wanted to mention that to you, and I think that's all I've got for tonight.
Questions, Ms. Kingsley? Not.
I don't think so.
Anything on facilities that we need to talk about? It's not on here, but.
I know I didn't put it on there.
Fence?
I think the fence is the most
think it's
important
good,
thing.
You know,
You were gonna, yeah, we were gonna talk a little bit about that.
kind of have a conversation about maybe getting that parking lot out for bid, maybe putting that parking lot in, then doing the fence.
Might be a little easier to do the fence.
Or, I mean, price, I wouldn't mind seeing pricing for gas, to get it permanent,
Okay,
Make it nice and make it tight.
yeah.
well, let's,
You don't
I'm
have
in no
kids
hurry.
sit on gravel when they're pulling it out of there.
Yeah.
honestly,
I mean, it could be something that we added to, if we accept an asphalt bid while they're here with their equipment, it'd be the time to do it.
sure.
So the tree line, some of that, you know, I'm pretty good at what my mouth's in, I can bring something down here and do it, but some of that's gonna be some pretty major,
Oh,
some of them stumps are massive and they're close to the other house.
okay.
I have a little concern with digging them out, but I know the lady next door, she's,
They do.
Maybe connected.
could be grouchy.
No. No, she wouldn't.
She
But
said
it-
you were
it-
welcome to remove them.
Yeah, it's gonna be, I actually talked to her. We might just need to look a little bit deeper into just, some of them stumps are.
A little touchy, huh?
I mean, is it something that's gonna need to grind out of there?
I just don't know how, we need to talk to, if, we need to talk to the asphalt guys, see if they're comfortable with the grind them, because usually they grind, they rot, they settle. So
Yep.
we just need to see where the lines are gonna
Gotcha.
be.
Understand.
It's just a little bit more than bringing a small piece of equipment down here. I'd have to bring one of those big.
So it'd have to be a pretty big
And,
machine for those stones.
And what
Yeah.
you're saying is you're thinking the asphalt company might be able to do this?
No, I'm just saying
No.
that if they're fine with grinding them, my concern with grinding is, you know, when you grind it, the stump eventually rots. Then you have a void in here.
Yep.
So
And then it's gonna
Okay.
sink later.
we just need to put a little more thought in that before we spend any money down there and move forward. I mean,
Okay,
that's we need to look at it a little closer.
okay. The other thing I will mention is when the fence company comes to do that, comes to do the fence here, they have noticed, Carl and Lonnie noticed that the fence that's around the fuel tank up there has rusted at the bottom and is definitely not in good shape, and we really need to get a new fence around that. So we thought when they're coming, we'd probably say, hey, what can we do to wrap that again too? This has probably been years and years and years and years since it was done.
Where's this at the bus barn?
It's at the bus barn, the silver tanks up there.
We'll move on to our discussion items. We will start with letter A. Career ladder plan, in your packet is career ladder plan. We approved this for this year. We just need to approve it for next year. Same plan, same ideas, same hours, same pay, same dollars. As far as plan goes. We
Yeah,
need to have a motion to do so. Motion, Mr. Brookshire, second, Mr. Thompson. Approving 25-26 District Career Ladder Plans. Further discussion? And none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 5-0. Every year, sometimes we have a little title money left over. We didn't approve to bring that over. That needs to be approved so we can get that money. So, it's $51,354.51. We just need a motion to do so that we can actually
Motion.
spend that money. Motion, Mr. Thompson, second, Mrs. Wells. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 5-0. Asphalt bids for parking lot playground resurfacing. In your packet, I think you saw 3 different bids, I believe.
that's right.
One of them was from Benji Fitzpatrick. Simmons, there it is. There you go. O'Connell. O'Connell. Lots of O'Connells, anyway.
This was
177 something.
675.
You have Melrose, you have Pierce. I believe it's the three that we have.
Pierce, Melrose is 168, 792.
Okay,
Pierce is 115, 420, and then 5,700.
120, 120, so.
I did. I reached out because it just said restriped parking lot. Want to make sure also the difference of price that he knew the playground was involved. And he said, absolutely. Yes, I knew the playground was involved. The only concern that he would have, the only thing, and he talked to Carl about this, and he wanted to mention it to me too, is that with his machine, the fence, if it stays up, he'll just get as close as he can. He anticipates about 6 inches that he won't be able to get into. So he said maybe some of the older fence they could take down, but I don't think the newer fence you can. So that would be the only thing that he mentioned about it. He absolutely knew that was part of the bid, and
All
And it's asphalt, whatever. Covering everything.
probably a long conversation with him. I think he came down here and
James
changed the whole thing. Yes, yes. And he had a bid. He thought the date was different. That's why I went in there. Reached out to a few people to make sure. Something, he had the wrong date in his head. So he got it in,
What you think? What you thought?
Not money, but parking lots. With Matt, remember when we resurfaced? Been resurfaced in your time?
No. We've sealed it.
We've sealed it several times.
I know,
It's not been.
I didn't know if it's been
surfaced for a long
resurfaced
time.
in the time you've been down.
It's due, probably 20 years old.
We'll lose it if we don't do something.
Yeah.
We can't even seal it, say,
No.
to help us much.
Well, and the cracks that are
What I mean.
forming in it are just, they're getting bigger. There's only so much sealing you can do to those.
Yeah. We've lost the ability to seal it, pretty much. My opinion.
And it's a 2-inch cap, so I mean, that should last quite some time.
That's cool. Good.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, the bids, we know, I think Pierce is by far the better choice for the district. And they work with the district multiple times. Do an excellent job, Tom.
I'll make a motion to accept Pearson's.
It's power.
There he is.
Called you.
We got Adam. It's
Okay.
it's
You know,
17.
it's not like I didn't just talk to you yesterday.
We
about
talked to
starting
Daddy,
He goes,
time of the meeting.
I said, I'll text Daddy, he goes, I just talked to him
You know the
yesterday.
deal, sing a song.
Motion, Mr. Thompson, to have Pierce Asphalt do our asphalt for the paper for the, on the
Just trying to think of it.
parking lot and the playground for 121 something.
Pretty much.
Is that even?
No, there's some change there.
change.
Yeah, 115.
121 something.
Yeah.
Again, Mr. Brookshire. Any further discussion? You get Mr. Birdsong coming in?
Yeah.
All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 6-0. At your time.
Hey.
I did read the packet.
No doubt. Okay, I know it's a lot of money, but
It,
Like
like
it's
Matt
one
said, it's,
time-
if we don't do something
We-
with
we
it,
One time for a while.
One
it's
time
just,
for a while.
it's just getting worse and worse, and like you
we
said,
gotta do something.
well,
Sealing won't, you'll spend 8,000 on sealing it.
To me, that's part of that spin down a little bit.
Move on to item D, lighting in the bus barn.
well, those bids are all over.
That was interesting, wasn't it? There were like 4 bids.
They're looking at it, I'm
maybe
like,
five.
well, that's,
Is there
whoa.
four or five?
Struggle with.
Where do we
have this done at some point in this whole lighting
We
fiasco.
bought them. So before I got
We
here, you
bought 'em, we
all
never
had
had 'em
bought
on.
all these,
I thought we.
the UFO lights.
No,
They all been sitting up there.
This is just for installing.
Mhm.
It's way.
well,
all over the
they
place.
went, no, no. They did an evaluation of it, but I don't know.
They did.
Spot, you know,
We
I said
did.
before, but I think
We
there's
didn't do
five.
We didn't do it,
Yeah.
but that,
They did evaluate.
They did
it, but
evaluate
not do anything with
So how do we get to the purchase?
it. I think it came right after we had done that. A little bit, maybe a year
We're
after.
definitely not
They
going to
had
do
a
it.
sale.
30,000.
That's where we did get them, but I didn't know what the deal
They
was.
had a sale on those because Tom Locke reached
Does
out
he
and said,
know
hey,
that
I've
it's
got a
just
good
an
price on this.
It's all
Which it was, I
over the
believe,
place.
pretty considerable savings
It was.
for it, and so we purchased them, and then part of our other plan was we were gonna clean the bus barn out, so we had room to get equipment in there and hang them up.
29.
and here we are.
Okay.
So we still have, it is literally. all-
Yeah, they're boxed up there.
Yeah, they're brand new.
Yeah.
Sitting there.
So we just need to have them installed.
Somebody wants $30,000.
Isn't that
Really?
crazy?
No, not really.
18,000.
I want to draw your.
Well,
attention-
compared to the, I mean, there's, the prices are all over the place. I mean, that's,
I looked at them.
Yeah,
why-
that's what I don't, I'm like, that's crazy that one's this and one's 3 times that.
Now, I want to draw your attention to the one that's the STL LED. Was the one Carl was really impressed with. And they brought these back down to show us. They really were concerned with using the UFO lights because they thought it's so bright. If you're going to be using it for ball, you're hitting a ball and kids are looking up, it's just going to blind you. And so they were really concerned about that. And then when putting those in the bus bay, they were afraid the way that they would sit in there, that the beams would actually block some of their view coming down, as well as maybe the doors. They were a little concerned about that. They recommend doing these, and so their bid
It's renewed.
is the 7,700, and that includes swapping out these for those.
They taking those though. Are they leaving?
So
No,
in
it
this,
looks like they're taking those.
What I thought,
yes,
That's what it
they were
appears.
what it looked like on the.
Swapping
thing when I
them
was
out.
looking.
swapping.
What do we have in our lights? Find that invoice. Pay for the product. Yeah.
I do not know. I did a quick Google of it to see about how much they were, because I wasn't sure what you all paid for them.
Oh, I want to say it was like 3,000 or 4,000. I don't know if it's even that much. I can't. It's been several, it's better than that.
So prices between 50 and maybe 68 or so.
How many do we have?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know that this was swapping 39 out, and I thought, well, that's a fairly reasonable price for what I'm seeing on the internet, just as a quick, like, Amazon commercial. will pop up.
Matt, were those bought with the grant?
That's what I thought it was in this, I thought it was part of all this lighting.
I thought I was on my way out when that happened, I think, and I think
I
you
don't
guys
think
bought
I
them.
think those were a separate purchase.
It was a whole different deal.
Yeah, but I think those were we bought.
I didn't know if they were
We
part of
bought
that
those-
energy
We
deal.
bought those, no, we bought those separately.
Now,
But we don't know.
I don't
how
know,
much.
and maybe Mr. Simile can help add a little bit
There's no
of thing
way.
for this, but
We did
that-
not
that
do on
barn-
ESP.
is dark.
No. But we didn't
And
do,
I know with hitting practice, something more, something newer's gotta be doing what we have, but with hitting practice in there, it needs to be, you need to be able to see pretty good. So that, my concern is that I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure we're not too dim still.
I know Carl's big concern was the ones we got blind you. He said, a kid stands there and pitch comes, he might not even, they're, but I don't know that, because I haven't seen the other one.
Yeah.
brighter in the sun.
Right?
We're practicing.
Put
I
sunglasses
don't know, I
on
mean,
kids.
I will say on their bid, I mean, they say they'll guarantee we happy with it, and if we're not satisfied, they will make it right for no charge.
All I would say, and it doesn't matter to me which way we go at all, he was just very impressed with them because they came out, they spent so much time, they talked through everything so closely, that
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a great idea, that this is what you're trying to accomplish. I don't know if this is gonna do a good job. And it just seemed like he was impressed with them, I guess, whereas then they came back by and gave us these so we would know exactly what they were talking about. Just, so, you know, that, for whatever that's worth, you know.
Oh, how many fixtures did their bid include? 39?
39.
No, they were taking,
There is,
so
there is
144
a,
of those, they're taking
yes,
39.
All right, so there's 144.
Yeah, they're taking 39 of
And
those
it's a
ones.
pretty good description in that folder, because I put all their communication in there, and they really lay out exactly what they're gonna do in that email, if you want, in that folder. They talk about where everything's gonna go, and
Now, are they gonna install these, over in the bus side as well?
yeah, so what he
So that
says,
total number is gonna be the
39.
practice side plus the bus side.
yeah, so what he says on this one is, for the batting cage area, there'd be 7 rows of 12 4-inch strips, with 8 of those strips focused over the batting cages. And the strips would more evenly light the batting cages and minimize the glare that maybe the other ones might give. He says giving a better overall baseball experience.
Okay, now, all right.
That makes sense. Do you
Yeah,
see that?
I gotta.
Sure. And then he just goes through each section of the bus barn and what would be installed there.
Because my question is, they're going to light the entire whole side
Yes,
brighter than.
yes, because then he talks about the back area, the batting cage, 4 rows of 8 4-inch strips evenly placed to provide adequate light there.
Out of the scope.
Then you move over to the next bay with that long narrow strip
Mhm.
and what they would install there, which would be,
And this is the St. Louis, is it St. Louis LED?
yeah, it's the one I have in the folder because there's several documents.
STL.
Yeah, MCO. And then they would install some of these UFOs over in the, in Lonnie's area, in the shop area. They put a few of them.
So
over
we're
there.
talking about keeping, some of them that we currently have ordered, getting installed where the bus stops is, but putting these more over on the, where we do our recreational stuff.
Yes, right,
Is that what I'm,
exactly,
now that,
exactly
now I'm
right.
starting,
That's exactly
Right.
right. These go over on the recreational.
it's stupid.
The UFOs go down the long skinny, or not skinny, but the narrow bus bay.
Like 144 of them, is that what I'm?
That's what it
So that-
said, 140.
Now I'm seeing it now. I wasn't with it before. So this is the batting cage side. They're gonna have 7 rows of 12 there, and then 4 rows of 8 on the opposite side.
So they just basically daisy chain together.
Yep,
And then
yep.
they're gonna tie into an existing power,
Yep.
all that.
I think it includes 3 switches they were, I believe was on there. But yes, and then he said the other good thing is,
I see.
when you have a problem with these, and these are resistant, like if they get hit. But he said then if they go out, you're replacing
Easy to
one.
replace.
Easy to replace.
Just plug and play, basically.
Plug and play.
$60.
And he did, yeah, if you haven't seen it, there is an image in there, kind of laying out a picture of,
Yeah.
yeah, it's got the building.
So
laid
that's
out.
another-
Because I really, honestly, I didn't pay much attention because I didn't think I was in it.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is not the right way to do it.
I know.
Honestly, that's what I did.
Well, it's a switch. I mean, yeah, these lights you're gonna install, now we're going, oh, whole different plan.
Well, they're professionals. I mean, obviously, we gotta be satisfied in the end. That's we would be,
He
or,
did say that.
so, I mean,
Well, there's only 2 bids that are even within the same range, and it's this one and the one from Bill. Construction.
Roseman.
No,
Roseman
Renew.
was a really.
Roseman was the one that was like
Renew.
30,000.
Yeah, and they're both basically the
Yes.
same
I
price.
knew it was an
Yeah,
R, sorry.
the
It's
renewed,
renewed,
yeah,
sorry.
the
I
renewed.
knew it was an R, I just couldn't remember which one.
So
guess-
there's at least two
I'm on-
companies that are
I
within.
guess the biggest thing is, do we wanna do different fixtures or do we wanna stick with what we got?
Okay, to go with their.
I mean, if that's their, like I said,
If they're recommending it, they know, I mean, it
Yeah, I'm okay
sounds like
with
it's something they spend a lot of time down here in research.
I mean, them UFOs are, they are right to the left.
Yeah, I mean, they're very,
I don't
Then-
mind this. I do like the fact that you can hit them and they should take a whacking a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks like they're about $17.
Replace, if
Is
you
that
need
what
to
you're
replace
saying?
one.
Yeah, it'd be easy to do that.
Yeah, 144 for that.
I'm
price,
okay,
yeah.
I'm okay with
Yeah.
I am too.
I'm good with it.
it, and it gets it done.
I make a motion that we bid from,
St. Louis LED.
yeah.
Second.
Did you say STD? Or did you?
LED.
Now we did. Now what is it?
TLLED.
Them, that, yes.
Those people. Those ones.
Hmm.
Second.
Who
I
made
already, I
the
already beat you.
Okay, who's getting honey buns from?
motion made by Mrs. Wells,
Here.
second, Mr. Thompson, to
No,
go
somebody over
with
there,
the
somebody over
bid
there.
from STL LED lighting for a cost
Did you
of
bring it?
$7,700
That's right.
something.
Even, I think that's
It was even.
7,700.
Even?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No. Not for me.
Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 6-0. Volleyball, Mr. Simley, you want to run through some of that with us?
Sure, we discussed a lot last month. Nothing's really changed, just give you guys some time to think about it. And, you know, same plans with everything else that we discussed. We're just kind of deciding exactly where we want to go with it.
The flooring people can get us in and get it done?
Yep,
They're okay with that?
I have to call them tomorrow, let them know one way or the other, so they need to
Okay.
know tomorrow.
Okay.
We get
No.
that done.
Now, I wanted to let you know that if we do that, we put those in and we repaint, they said that they need to put 2 coats of the seal on the
Yeah,
top.
yeah.
So that would be an increase of about $1,200 to get 2 coats on instead of 1.
The floor's in rough shape. I feel like it needs,
Needed, okay.
needed.
Need 2 coats anyway, doesn't it? No matter
Okay.
what, probably.
So that was just something that we didn't have on the other because we didn't realize that. And so,
I would like to see us get back to protecting it and taking better care of it.
Running the kids off of it during games.
So what's the plan for run me through what the plan for the next couple of years is with volleyball.
Well, I did have a meeting, the sheet's in my office. I met with 5th, 6th, 7th graders, and there was a lot. You know how that goes though, when you call them out during the school day and you don't know, and I don't know the elementary kids well enough to know, yeah, they're probably really interested, or no, maybe they're not. But the numbers were really good between the 3 classes. You know, we looked at doing 6th through 8th next year. And if numbers wasn't great, we could include 5th graders. Just coming in, doing our normal fundamental practices. As far as games, maybe try to find a few games probably away, depending on what we ended up doing. With schools similar, you know, I know the schools well enough with volleyball that we don't want to play some schools, and some schools we probably do. Because we discussed, our
Yeah.
elementary kids have not played volleyball. They have not touched volleyballs at school. So we're gonna be behind, but there's only one way to catch up, start doing it. You know, coaching wise, we'll just open it up and I think we'll have some options. You know, the pay will come from how we discussed. We're missing out on some pay from other areas that we can replace with this. And then after next season, we'll try to figure out what's our next step. We're gonna try to add a full middle school schedule. We go to high school in 2 years, you know, That's something we'll have to figure out based on our participation, skill level. We'll get to see it all the first year. I think the interest will be high next year because it's new. And those kids don't have a lot to do, you know, they've got
It's
basketball and
it's kind of
track.
the in thing right now too. That's kind of for sports right now, for girls volleyball is kind of the deal.
So do we really need to cut holes in the floor this year? Just asking your opinion.
I'd like to see.
My opinion is if we're gonna do it, we need to do it.
You don't have no little tires that you roll out there and flop them on the floor and put them in the
No.
We use those for years.
I mean, what decade are you in?
Mine.
We'd like for you at least to get to the 2000s.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm pretty sure the net that just broke was from our time. And that's what it was.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Playing volleyball.
Hey, I cleaned out uniforms.
Yes.
That wasn't more than my time. I can promise you, I never wore uniforms like they had in that locker room.
It's
They were
probably,
before my time.
I think those things are coming back in style. We probably could have just recycled
Oh,
them.
they are
Yeah.
The
vintage.
retro.
Retro.
This is retro year.
These, you're thinking these are sixties and seventies.
Ah, there you go.
That's possible.
That's
You
very
brought-
possible.
Hey.
So we're
you
looking
brought those
at
things
we're
off.
looking at 10 grand-ish plus an extra 1,200 for the extra sealant, right? So about 11, a little over 11 grand. If we do the floor, the striping,
Those are the
all that.
permanent.
And that makes it all permanent, look good.
Yeah,
Doesn't look haphazardly.
The nice thing,
Allow us to do that.
yeah, that's everything, right? Am I correct, Mr. Simon?
Well, you got 4,500 in the floor plus 1,000, she said, and then
Yeah.
poles, net system pads, 4,500. So, you know, I would say
Now we're gonna have a little more expense on some other things, I'm sure, because you always do.
Yes, a few balls.
To get us started, we're gonna have about 11 grand to get us going.
I would say between 11 and 13.
13.
And if we can run volleyball for 10 more years here, that's.
Well, then maybe it'll encourage them to play
Reasonable.
in gym class.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's gonna, I personally think it's gonna help us draw a few kids. I think we would have drawn a handful of kids had we had it this year.
Mm.
After discussion with some parents and things like that, I think we would have drawn 5 or 6 of those eligible kids here.
There were several girls in that age group, and I would say that season we're looking at there, that little dead spot in March, I think it is. I'm pretty sure that's when all the K-8s played, the ones in Salem, so there's 4 K-8s in Salem, you got Edgar. And those would be some very logical teams to add, and I think they've got tournaments and stuff too that they do. And then, so being able to play Edgar in that season too.
And if we do get our floor done, maybe we can do a game or 2 here then, and
Yeah.
so we can show it to our people. And
I can tell you the districts I've been at in the past, participation in volleyball is higher than anything else. And there's reasons for that. I hate to say them when we're live streamed, but there is reasons.
yeah,
And I would expect it to be no different here.
Just remember, we had volleyball once here.
How many years ago was that, Doug?
I
Well, he
don't
found
know.
the uniforms, he said 60s and.
I don't know. But we did this one.
Hey, some uniforms, I had no idea what they were for. Maybe they were volleyball.
Nancy.
I don't know what else they wore.
We're spending money for another program when we're gonna have to
They had some
possibly cut positions in the next year.
Yeah, but it's minimal. I can,
There's a lot
to
of
me,
minimal.
it's minimal expense for a probable, what I feel could be a probable decent game.
Do you think those guys are gonna get those brand new nets out and put them up for PE class? Never gonna happen.
It did when we were here.
They're gonna make it happen.
We
I
had a
can tell
lot
you
more
that.
enthusiasm.
I can tell you no problem.
Did when we were in that time frame.
But it's the truth. You're gonna make it happen.
Here's the
I mean,
nice
we're
thing
not gonna
about it,
not allow them
you
not to
can
do
vote.
that. Because
I know.
it's a.
And if you don't like volleyball, we can use it for
I like
badminton.
volleyball. I used to drive the bus to
Yeah.
I used to drive the
So,
bus.
yeah.
To
I played a
volleyball matches.
little game
So
of
there you
badminton
go.
in there last year. It was the best
Mr.
thing
Bailey,
they ever-
So are you
I'll
willing to
leave
come
them
back and do that now?
Absolutely not.
Is he coaching volleyball? I miss him.
He's gonna be the
The bus driver.
Bus driver. He's a driver.
You drove a bus when Mr. Bailey was here?
I did.
How old were you?
19.
You were 19, they
so
let you drive
We
a
need a
bus.
motion
I'm gonna make a
to
motion
move
to
forward.
move
with
forward.
this.
And I'd like to make a
That's what
motion to
I'm
move
saying, like,
forward with
Mr.
the volleyball.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I will second Tony's motion.
Motion
to
made
move
by
forward.
Mr. Shear, second Mr. Birdsong to move forward with junior high, correct? Volleyball.
Co-ed volleyball.
I think
No.
No,
No.
just girls. Just
Just
girls.
girls.
Girls volleyball.
it's 6 through 8.
At an
6 through
approximate
8.
cost of somewhere around 15,000 or less.
Yes.
Made a motion.
I got.
I like it.
Any
We
further-
won't limit you,
Any
people.
further
We got
discussion?
faith in you.
Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Those opposed? 5-1. I'm opposed.
That was opposed, if you didn't catch that.
He's not. He's having flashbacks. He's
All
afraid he's
right.
gonna have to drive the bus again.
Letter F. I'm not 19. I don't need the money that badly. If I did, I wouldn't. I'd drive it.
I'd find something
I'll
else
go
to
to
drive a
Walmart.
bus.
Push cart.
Brett,
Yeah.
they need to. The other day, I waited quite a while to get mine.
Hey, I did.
Brett Ed. We talked about just a little bit last meeting on this. We didn't know enough then to even, we didn't much know what it was.
Hey, but guess what? I saw another Frisco League school advertising for a half-time position for this exact same thing.
There's several schools and several elementary school leagues that are.
Yeah.
That are doing this now.
So they're gonna get paid $11,000.
No.
Cause it was like,
No, that's the contribution if we do a
that's the
halftime position
contribution.
that the state would.
I think
pay.
Mr. Dunn was gonna give us a talk about it.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're ready.
So
We need to stop talking about volleyball.
So we did go ahead and apply for the grant. We were awarded the grant pending board approval, for this.
Well, that's good to know.
So, yeah, and so they've got Root Ed, it's run very, very well. There's timelines, deadlines, there's quotas that people have to meet. Yes, they would give us some money to help fund a part-time position, but they also provide incentives for various things throughout the year. And so when I went to the principals conference, well, it's been a couple months ago or so now, I did go to a session, I told you guys that. So when I've got here, and I don't know if you guys seen this yet or not, but I did add it to your packet today. But just going over what I learned even going through the session. So hitting some highlights for the Rooted. I like to say Root Ed because they spell ED in capital letters, but they say Rooted, but whatever.
I don't think they say it right. You need to tell them.
I need to tell them they're not
I
saying
just,
it
that's
right.
not right.
I
It's
know.
root ed.
Yeah,
Not
no,
education.
How come you're pronouncing your own program?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's crazy. So kind of their overarching kind of philosophy, they believe that every student should graduate high school on a path to achieve career success and economic stability. So it's kind of two components to this. It started in the federal government's ESSER funds, but now it's in the state budget because that got pulled away from ESSER and then it was added to the state budget. I think it's interesting and they like to tout this as well, that Governor Kehoe specifically mentioned this in his State of the State address earlier in the year. So it is a priority for the current administration. So current continued funding for this is important to the state. So that's important because it's in the state budget. He's mentioned it. It's important to him. So it's likely to continue to be a part of the state budget. Currently, there's 130 high schools in Missouri that utilize this. Some of their goals, their quotas, 100% of seniors will have a career plan, which includes a post-secondary plan by the time they graduate. And so this person's job is really to work with our upperclassmen in preparing those post-secondary plans by the time they graduate. 100% of seniors will complete a career exposure opportunity by the time they graduate. So whatever they're interested in, trying to give them exposure to those careers. 100% of students will complete the steps for post-secondary education, career training, a full-time job, or military service by the time they graduate. And the counselor will work with each student before graduation, to work through whatever their plan is. There's an annual statewide conference each fall for the counselors, so there's lots of training, lots of PD, for them. There's also monthly virtual PD. Oh, it looks like PE, virtual PE for these virtual PD, fall and spring, in-person PD, and optional opportunities by content experts. So lots of stuff available. Rooted will provide districts with student engagement funds based on senior class size. So let's say anywhere from $500 to $2,000 per district, but they could be used at the district's discretion. Some call the funds bribes, because they can use them however they want to. They can use them for various incentives, taking students on tours, or even paying the kids to fill out applications. That's part of the bribes, but it's really the district's discretion on how they want to use these funds. It's something that Root Ed gives the districts to do. Could be also used for campus visits and that sort of thing. They also provide, you may have seen online, various schools do decision day at the end of the year for the kids to announce what they're doing. That's a Rooted thing. Rooted provides districts with prizes and incentives for this as well, to help make it a bigger event. A FAFSA incentive is also provided, so schools receive gifts to raffle if a certain percentage of students complete their FAFSA. So, I mean, these are like high ends, that could be AirPods, laptops, whatever. So these incentives, so the higher the percentage, then the more things we're able to raffle, for our kids. There are also Rooted only scholarships. So students who go to schools that have a Rooted counselor are eligible for scholarships. These can go to, students, whether they're going to a 2-year school, or even if they transfer to a 4-year school, there's scholarships available if they went to a Rooted school. And then for a part-time counselor, I think it's around $11,500. It's a little over $11,000 that they would give the district, for a part-time counselor. So there's a lot there. And I think with this particular position, if you are able to find the right person, it could be a great, I think there's some other benefits too, as far as bringing in a new counselor and just that team working together and helping. I think it could just really enhance our counseling department, being able to add somebody that can focus on this, but also be a resource for our new counselor. But I have seen this year that our students would benefit from somebody being able to devote a lot more time and attention to this post-secondary and financial planning for life beyond high school, being able to focus on that without really taking away from the other responsibilities of the position, because being a 712 counselor is a lot. There's so much that goes with that. Somebody committed to this aspect, I think could really serve our kids well. There's some other documents in there as well. There's some of the research. Let me find that page. There's some, their stats show 7% increase in students attending college, but one that really stuck out to me was a 52% increase in students pursuing career training, apprenticeships, or the military. That's a lot. That's the before and after the Rooted position, but there is that one, the one document that's got some stats in there as well. Graduates of Rooted high schools are forecasted to earn 17% more than they would without a Rooted advisor. So I mean, there's some benefits there for our kids. FAFSA completion rates go up too, so definitely could benefit our kids.
I don't doubt that. I mean, give our kids a chance to see they have possibilities. And I mean, you don't know what you can do if you don't know what's out there. So I think it could be a tremendous asset myself.
100% behind it on that. I think sometimes our kids don't know. I think they're potentially out there.
I agree.
They're not, don't have that leadership at home to help them. They're only rely upon is coming here. And we need to make sure we have enough things in place that we give them the opportunity to see what that next level could be.
Yeah, no, I agree. So what are we looking, we're looking, the grant's 11.5, but what do we think this is gonna cost us?
Just depends on the salary.
It would depend on the
I know Ms.
salary.
Kingsley has done some work on that.
Yeah, if it was our base salary, where it stands right now, it would cost us a little over 5,000. But if we needed to go to the 40,000 mark,
Depending on who it is.
qualifications, certifications, so forth, then that'd be closer, to $8,500 in a salary. So we
So
just
less-
depend on who.
So
has
less than 10 grand.
qualifications. Now, we got a counselor who has a master's degree. I don't know if we want to go to the 46,000. So, I mean, but I don't think we'd even go any, that'd be the top. Right,
I was gonna say, that'll be the
Right.
tricky part.
finding somebody.
Now, are we thinking, is this a 4-day-a-week thing, or,
I think it
Can it
provides a
be-
lot, every school does it differently.
okay,
What I would like to see is some kind of consistent schedule as a baseline, whether that's coming in the morning 4 days a week, or afternoon 4 days a week, or coming in 2 days a week. But you do have the flexibility. You got somebody that's retired, it does provide some flexibility there
Yeah.
that we need to get that halftime hours in. But we've got some flexibility when it happens. Rooted's gonna have all these quotas that person has to meet. And so that's gonna force them to be working with our kids. So sometimes it's coming in on days where you can work with kids. So there's got to be some flexibility there. But they will be meeting a lot of quotas, so they're gonna be working with our kids. Small groups quite a bit. But I think we can be flexible with the
Okay.
hours there.
didn't know if there's a requirement or if we had that option.
And I think being a 4-day week
It's already.
makes being a half time maybe more appealing to a retiree, because now instead of doing 2.5 days, you're looking at 2 days. So I think that could potentially be more appealing. But I'm definitely open and we're open to a half a day, 4 days a week. I mean, I think we can be flexible.
Any other questions? Motion to move ahead.
I'll make a motion, we move forward with the root program.
Birdsong, second, Thompson, to move forward with the Root Ed program.
And the name change.
Further discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
I mean, finance.
Motion carries 6-0.
But you can't find someone unless you start looking.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was asking, because if we can do a 2-day-a-week thing, and they do, the Tuesday or Thursday, or maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're off.
Okay, we'll move on to our science materials. That'd be you, Mr. Wright. You want to spend more money.
Yeah, see that.
We know.
Apparently, today's the day.
Today's the day. Don't need to say no now, right?
We've said yes so much, we might have to say no.
Good thing you showed up, Adam.
The good news about this number that I want to spend, it is for 3 years. So let me start with that. So
This much per year?
no, it will give us everything for 3 full years. It comes with a lot of hands-on stuff for the kids, engaging, and they replace that curriculum for 3 years. 4th, 5th, and 6th grade teachers have approached me wanting to improve their science curriculum. So that's kind of where the conversation started. It started with my survey I sent out, and then we had some conversation with some teachers that came and talked to me about, hey, we need to improve our science scores for math. We really need to improve our curriculum. What are some ways we can do that? So we did some research. I have gotten some samples that I gave to them earlier in the year. They spent some time with those samples and really liked the Inspire Science. So,
3 years includes all the materials.
everything.
Materials also.
Online, there's
Expendables,
digital and physical
all the
labs,
little expendable things.
Yep.
That you're gonna replace.
the print, student print, the online, digital and physical hands-on labs, training, teachers' editions.
Hands-on materials.
Yes.
Kids.
All the experiments.
All the experiments, everything, yeah.
Ms. Wright, I'm assuming you've looked at potential other ones other than from
We
McGraw?
did,
And
yes.
this is the one that
We
you
did.
guys all
And this
collectively
one has,
thought was
is
the
pretty
best?
spot on with the next generation standards, yeah.
Did you say you pulled 3 for them to look at?
Yeah, I think we looked through 3 of them. We were, but they weren't, the other 2 were more, resources instead of just the actual
Hands-on.
hands-on stuff, yeah.
Hands-on.
And I tried
They
to,
get
I love
cumbersome,
I-
gets cumbersome of where to keep them and where to put them.
Sure.
yeah, and I actually got multiple different quotes. I did like a 6-year or 3-year, and I thought, well, we'll see what a 1-year is. You're not saving, I shared with Mrs. Kingsley, you're not saving much at all. What was it, like $1,500 difference?
Or a couple $1,000, yeah, at the most.
$2,000 difference from a 1-year to a
Very
3-year.
small
You
amount.
showed us that though.
I may have,
I
it was
we
very
saw the 1 year
small.
versus 3 years.
Yeah,
I think so.
Like $2,000.
Because I thought, well, then you could try it out for a year if it
Right.
wasn't much and see if they really liked it before you went in.
Looks like we're gonna try it out for 3 years and see if we like it.
Well, with the price,
with the
Yeah,
price,
there's
yeah,
just no
usually it
reason
takes 3 years to see results. and-
Give you a
Yes.
good baseline.
Yes,
yes.
This is
My thing
all
is-
easily implemented and staff can handle this.
absolutely.
It sounds like your staff is already on board.
They are already on,
So
they are
that's the-
knocking on my
That's
door.
the
Are
main
we getting
part.
that? Are we getting that? I'm like,
No matter what you're
I
gonna
stopped
teach,
and asked
they're
one of
gonna
them
be behind.
today, I said, tell me more about this. You guys really want this? She goes, we're getting it, right? And I said, no. That's why I want to know what you think. Well, we gotta have something. We've got, and she was
yeah,
excited about the idea of getting it.
yes.
Motion? Motion.
I'll second it.
Motion.
Mr. Brookshire.
Mr. Brookshire, thank you, Mr. Shear. How are we gonna ensure that the teachers are using it? You gonna take care of that?
That's what you do. That's what you do.
That's-
I'm good with that.
Yep, absolutely.
Same way we're gonna make sure volleyball's happening in the PE class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same way that we know Rudet's gonna work. we
That's
get
right, the same way rooted,
Yeah.
or rooted, or
Those
rooted.
3 over there.
Rah,
We
rah,
have a
whatever
motion
it's
and a
called.
Second, any further discussion? Would you go,
Yeah.
Tony?
After you said it.
He said yes.
All those in favor?
I hope he is. He
Motion
seconded.
carries 6-0. Okay, yes.
Oh, said yes. Yeah, yeah.
He did.
Seems he
Just
wasn't.
gonna second it and run.
Yeah, I'm out. It was.
So I'm good to purchase that like
Tomorrow.
tomorrow if I want to, so we can get it here. Okay, because that's another, they're wanting to go through some of it over the summer, so that's why they were kind of.
Wanted to get it again
now.
instead of next year.
Yes.
It's in your corner now.
Yes.
You're good.
So,
Only money.
Broke one of it.
Whoever's next asking for money, I feel sorry for you.
Next, who's next on the list?
Next agenda
John.
item,
John. Back to Mr. Ross.
admintum quote for 1 year. Like $9,000, wasn't it? 8,900 or something.
What's in there? Is it-
It was 89.50
$89.53.
for the 1 year. I think we should go with 1 instead of 3 was what I was.
We have to have it.
So I did ask them for the 1 year, it was like a week and a half ago, and I sent them another email saying, hey, I never got that. Because they give us a quote like what it'd be for the next 3 years, but we are.
Yeah,
That's what I left down was the next 3.
3 years,
But-
20.
But we did ask
No,
them, like, hey,
right.
we did ask them just for 1 year if we wanted to take it year by year, but they've not sent that to me. And that was like a week and a half ago, and I followed up, but I just not heard back from them.
Something made me though believe that we could do it 1 at a time. Either a conversation you and I had or something I sent to them, but that is all we really want to do right now is 1 year at a time. Because I think our numbers are gonna go down and who knows what might change.
With that momentum.
Could do less than- give less than 10 grand.
It's serving a lot of kids well,
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
And I do agree with the thought process that this will get smaller,
yeah.
maybe down to
Maybe
where it's
not
just a
even.
few.
It's
in
the
a- in
plan.
a Couple of years.
It's been used very liberally, and it still
Yes.
has a need. We're just trying to be more
But it's
efficient with what we do.
expensive.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it, it's hard to get it. Those online programs like that are really sometimes difficult for kids.
Well, and this is paying for 45 licenses, and that's where we get to the numbers of not doing that for 3 years.
Yeah.
Let's see what we really need.
And we only need 20.
Yeah,
And we did get a ton of credits this year.
Oh, no,
Yes, you did.
that's
I-
awesome.
So-
That's one.
So the way that works is a license would be a kid. And so whether the kid takes one class or the kid takes 20 classes, it's just one license. And so you're just paying per kid no matter how many classes they take.
Yeah.
And so that's.
So how many did we use this year? How many did we have at one time?
We used
We're-
more
we're
this year than
over-
we should have, but I don't. which
We're over
one?
30 credits, but we're not over 30 kids.
But there will be some more added to those licenses with summer school.
Yeah. I was just curious if
Right.
we had like 25 kids that went through the program or.
So we have, so we have some students that are gonna take some of those licenses in summer school. Kids that have to make up credits because they failed a class during the year, or they lost their credits for attendance, or whatever the case may be. They're gonna take a license in summer school and try to make up some of their credits.
So now if we have a student that starts in the fall and they use a license and they're finished, and they go off, does that open that license up for another student to use
It's just tied to that kid. So
for the whole year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like seats, like the seats taken.
So the 45.
I did one.
We're gonna
We
use.
didn't have 45 kids.
Like I said, summer school.
But that's what I mean, you're thinking
Everybody
we
does
might
it different,
use,
so it
at
could
some
be.
point in the year, might have a need. for-
Because I was kind of curious if we, so if
That's
they
what
get
I
us a match.
Could be, I mean, every program does it differently. Some of you like to swap kids out, some of them.
Still use your app.
Either way.
Motion to approve Edmentum for around 9,000 probably for a 1-year deal.
Mr. Matt?
Mr. Brookshire made the motion, Mr. Thompson with the second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 6-0. Bank bidding process, something that you have to do every 5 years, just a process. We do have to open it up. We have done one 5 years ago, of course. Did everything, run it for 3 years, and you can increase it by 2 if you want to. Did all those. Now it's time again. In your packet, you kind of saw a general, we've made it, Tracy and Rebecca, I think, kind of made it Newburg's. Now to go out, it's a bid to the banks, and we'll get the bids in.
So how do we get these out? You just mail them to every local bank or mail the banks you want to do or?
Probably have to post it
You have to
somewhere.
post
I
it.
think you have to advertise it.
Yeah,
And you have to
mine,
get someone
probably put in the newspaper.
It's kind of like, it's kind of like looking for a bid for asphalt. Basically.
And it's a larger bid, so I'm sure we have to put this in the newspaper.
You-
Probably posted 3 areas, that kind of a deal.
Most of those institutions look for those things
You gotta
though.
put it on
pretty
our-
regularly.
Yes, and put it on our webpage, yeah. And then, of course,
Now you
our
might be able
local
to
is looking
access it.
for it and ready for it, so.
We can. And deliver. if you want.
So you know they got.
Every, you can do
We
that.
don't need anything on.
We don't need anything on that. We're
That's
just,
just a talking.
just a discussion item, so you can know
Market
that's aware and
discuss.
that's coming up. As you see on letter J, we did have 2 individuals who have filled out their application for a vacant board position. Yeah,
Is that the word you're looking for?
no, I couldn't find it. I'll be still on iron. But, and that will be, they will fulfill till April. And now that spot will then become a 2-year seat. So in April, there'll be 3 seats for 3 years and 1 seat for 2 years. Is what the folks will be voting for.
And that will go off the number of votes on who gets what, correct?
Yes. So there'll be 4 spots open, so 4 people with the whoever has the highest 4 spots will get those 4 spots come election time. But
We'll have 4 people.
that's what will be open.
3 of them.
But it's
Mhm.
Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Wells, and myself that are up this time. Okay. Anyway, back to the board. We will have to have a interview. We'll have to ask some questions, and then we'll have to vote. How that works is, you all know how that works. All of you have been through it. So. You get to nominate who you would have, and you get 1 vote. You have to have 4 votes for 1 person at least for them to be put in that spot. Okay, when would you like to do that? Well,
That's all
I
we
do
need to
it,
have. You need to have interviews.
I'm gonna do it before so that they could have all their stuff be ready for the June meeting. And then maybe we could have some stuff in the next couple of weeks from Tracy on the budget, so we could at least preview that at the same time.
And nine.
Same night,
That'd be great.
because it's an open session meeting. And we get two things out, not approve the budget, just let's walk through it a little bit. And
Right.
those two items will be the only thing we do.
So our next board meeting would be the 19th, correct? June
If
19th.
we go with that, it would be the 19th. I wouldn't mind moving it to the 26th. I don't know what you all think about that, possibly doing this meeting on the 19th. That is basically because I have a vacation in there and I want to make sure when we go over the budget, I've really spent the time getting all the final pieces in there. So it gives
So
me
move the
just,
regular meeting to the
I mean, if you
26th.
want to use Thursdays, you know, if that's what we would.
Do
prefer.
this budget and board
Walk through the
candidate.
budget and the interviews.
Yep.
and
You know,
all
that's
that.
Juneteenth.
So the state will be closed on the 19th.
Sorry,
Well,
throw that in there.
It doesn't matter. We have all-
Good thing
That's
you're
a
not,
holiday.
good thing you're not federal employees. Huh? We'll get paid.
You can ask Doug when the
I
board
can,
members'
I can
paychecks show
do
up.
the
It's in the
19th. I won't-
Every month it's in the mail, but
But that's just me.
say that again.
I can do the 19th, but I can't do. But that's just me. I'm just one person.
19th is shaky for me.
19 shaky.
19th is shaky
So
for
what
me.
if we did the 17th and the,
17th is real shaky for me.
Or could we do the
are
19th?
you looking at the palm trees?
No, I am not, but, we got a basketball girls, new basketball coaches taking the girls to Branson.
Oh,
And I've got a couple day deal in St. Louis.
What's the 24th?
June's my birthday month, so I'm kind of booked.
you're gonna have to take a vacation from your vacation.
Just saying we should do it. Regular board
I
meeting
can,
24th.
yeah, I can do that.
I could do the 24th.
Can you do the
Regular
24th?
meeting.
Just
Are you going
Throwing
to
it
do
out
the
there.
24th?
I'm throwing out there at the moment to do a regular board meeting, June 24th. It's a Tuesday. It's changed, a different night.
Not a boat meeting, a board meeting.
A board
It's
meeting.
spelled for some reason. I got boat meeting.
Added.
down here.
When,
And then is it possible to
Your
do,
phone now.
is it possible? to
Oh,
do
yeah, I know, but
17th?
too many irons in the fire this week.
17th won't work for me.
17th
Okay.
won't work for me
How
either.
about the 19th?
Nope.
That whole week is bad.
Week is the worst.
Matt and I are both out.
When are you on vacation, Miss Kingsley?
First part of June.
First through the 9th. So I'll be back 10th and 11th.
If we had our meeting, if we did our interviews the 12th, would that be pushing you too
It's
much?
pushing me. That was what I was hoping we wouldn't do, but it does give me a couple of days. Most of it's in place. It's just that I'm so particular.
Oh,
I really want
just do
that
it
time.
on Meeting. and-
So is that whole week out?
Yeah. just-
Why don't we do it to 12? If I still have a few pieces that aren't in there, I can just say.
We
that.
can have preliminary though, and that's what it is anyway.
It is, right. So I'll make it work. I'll make it work. If that's the date that works best for you guys.
What we gain by impression, I mean, what's our, why push it?
Just so that
We
they're
can make
ready.
it-
I'd rather have a more productive budget meeting than having somebody that's not gonna really know much about what's going on. Anyway.
Oh, no. I think that night with them, I don't think that was the intent, is to introduce them to it, right?
No.
For Miss Kingsley.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
just
why
to give
move
you
that forward,
I
just
got
for
you.
the benefit of, I'm saying I'd rather have a more productive budget meeting when the timing's right for her, and if we can do the meeting, that's all I'm saying.
So you're saying maybe
We could do it all on the 24th.
Do it all on the
That's what I-
24th, maybe start earlier.
June.
I mean, you can do
Well,
it a little early.
Go
I
start
will likely
after
send
your-
you
have the
all
interview.
the budget before then anyway.
The only material they wouldn't have would be an executive session because it's open session's available for everybody.
Right.
So they could have the material ahead of time.
Let's just do.
So we're gonna do interviews and all that on the 24th.
Just
Come in
throwing it
an hour
out,
early.
just throwing it out there.
Do a 5:30 meeting maybe or something.
That gives her plenty of time to be prepared for,
I mean,
and that,
Well, like I said, I will probably send you all a preliminary budget before that anyway.
Sure.
You know, with some, where.
that
you know,
does give for a whole nother week to
Yeah.
put it all
I
together.
think that's probably the best.
Now,
I have to
understand
work
we
on the
gotta,
beach, so
we
that
gotta-
would help.
we gotta approve a budget.
I'm not going to the beach.
Me.
Oh,
That's
You
why
did.
you wanted a preliminary.
That's why
That's
I
why we
wanted to do
thought
it
it might be.
preliminary so we had time to think about it.
because we're gonna hear it all at once and
We have to approve a budget in June.
That's the hard
I'm okay with that, I'm just,
I don't say that's.
part. Truly though, I really am
I mean,
okay if you wanna do the 12th. I mean,
If she
gives
can
us time
send
to
it to
talk,
us
it
to
gives
look
me time
at,
to-
you know, on the 24th, we'll probably be able to get the question answered if there was.
Staff raises is my biggest concern. I want us to be able to have a good, solid conversation about that. Sometimes that just takes some reflection and you know, can we do, you know?
Get dominoes, keep it in a warm bag, we're gonna be here that long.
that's an important event. Is the 16th out for everybody?
Yes.
so the 24th.
Looking that way. I'm fine with the way. I was just trying to get a little time to.
Well, if she, like I said, if she gets a preliminary, we can all review it, and if we have any questions, we can ask them.
We can, she can put it out to us
Well,
after she gets back and send it to us and we can look through that.
really, truly, yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay,
I'm
So-
good with that.
can we do the interview process at 5:30,
Only two, so,
do it at 6?
no, I was.
Okay. So if we do it at 5:30, then we'll be done surely at 6:30, and we start our meeting at 6:30. So, everybody good with that? Matt, you good with all that? Tony, good?
Yeah, no, I'm good with that.
Josh, Charles?
Mhm.
How about you? You okay with that?
I don't know if that works for me. Yes, that's
Make it
fine.
work.
Yes.
All right, so we will do all of it at one time. We'll have a regular board meeting. We'll have to make a motion for this because we're changing the date again.
Yeah.
To the 24th of June. We'll have our board vacancy interviews before that at 5:30 with the board meeting starting at 6:30. Need a motion to move.
I make
the
a
meeting.
motion.
Need a motion to move the meeting. Motion by Ms. Wells, second by Mr. Brookshire to move a regular scheduled meeting to the 24th at 6:30. Then I need a motion to do the interview.
I make a
We gotta
motion.
vote first.
Oh, sorry, I need
Oh,
all those in favor? Motion carries 6-0.
make a
Now I need a
motion.
motion to do our board interviews. Ms. Wells, Mr. Thompson, at 5:30. All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, very good. Motion to go into executive.
Made.
Oh, hang on.
Wait, we did have.
We need to do that project lead, we don't.
Yes, that's right. We had the project leadway. I neglected to put on the agenda, but it is in your board packet. And it was the grant for $9,100. It allows us to do the training. Primarily, it's just the training.
Participation fees and training.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff we already have because we're utilizing, or we would utilize programs we've used in the past. So a lot of the stuff we're already gonna have. The programs do have consumables that would be an expense each year. And so the plan is, the two programs, one is called Medical Discoveries, and the other one is Computer Science, Innovation, and Makers. And so for one of the seventh grade specials to do, or like seventh grade specials to do one of them, eighth grade specials to do the other. But because we've already got that stuff, we've already got the training, I know we have high school kids that are interested in some of those as a semester class. And so they can take that. Some schools do that. It's just a semester class, because typically the high school classes are a full year. The junior high classes are a semester, but we could offer the same thing. So I know, my daughter's in high school, she'd love to do a medical discovery thing. And we do have some kids that are interested in that. So providing that as an opportunity for them. And so the consumables, I don't think I think we'd be under $3,000 for the year for the consumables. That's gonna be driven by participation. When we were looking, at the prices for those, it'd be under there, I think. Be a pretty safe bet.
But good, but going with the grants for about 9,000.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I think it's 9,100. I've got it pulled up right here. Yeah, it's 9,100. So that covers, we have, I think there are like 6 or 7 training vouchers. We would use 2 of them this year. So if we need to train more, we've got those vouchers, for that. There is a 3-year, commitment to that.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
If we don't do it for 3 years, you're gonna pay for that money back.
I'd like to. The plan is to keep it going.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, I think the medical discovery for sure, we have a lot of interest, I think, with our kids here. I think that one, I think you'll see some.
We really spent some time trying to think of some courses that would pique our students' interests, and
Well,
get-
I think this kind of stuff here, this is, you start getting these kids to see some of this stuff, and that's how they're gonna get out of here, and that's how they're gonna know what the next step's gonna be. And it may not be exactly that, but it might be something that they interact with along that line that got their interest, to go to that next level with something. And if we're not providing it for them, they're not gonna see it.
Well, that's what I like about the Root Ed.
That helps to break the cycle.
It does,
I'm
exactly.
excited about
One more.
that. I think so.
Motion to accept the
I'll make a
Project Lead the Way information. Mr.
motion.
Shear,
Second.
second, Mr. Birdsong. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 6-0. Takes care of that, doesn't it?
Thank you.
Need a motion to go on to executive, please.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Birdsong, second, Mr. Thompson. Do the roll call, Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Ms. Wells.
Yes.
Here. Yeah.
Here,
I there, forget to, I just did.
yeah,
Mr. Shear?
yeah.
Yes. Sure, Mr. Birdsong,
Yes.
myself, yes. Oh, but everybody, yes. We'll take about a
5-minute
5 minute recess
recess.
break and then we'll get back in. Okay. Josh, can you